Yeah, I did turn it off earlier because it wasn't turned back on.
Oh,
But it's working now. So.
okay.
Counsel, I apologize. I didn't know that was going to cause a problem with the clerks.
No
Apologies.
apologies necessary, Your Honor. Although we were trying to figure out why you thought that the staff here needed time to have lunch. I can possibly understand why that would happen. But we'll just figure that it's okay.
Thank you. No. But mine might have had issues earlier. That's why I just turned it off altogether. You know, working off my laptop and this computer at the same time is a little bit crazy. No, it's okay. Thank you.
You don't have
I do. Here we go.
She's not allowed to. Right? She's not allowed to.
Did yours stay on? Okay. I'm closing it, Ryan. I'm going to open it back up.
Water's still good on the waters?
Somebody kind of nursing the coffee from this morning.
I understand that.
It's so dry during the day.
Mm-hmm, sure. Hey, V, can you come here and
Yes.
see if you can expand the size of the screen?
Okay.
So, you
Oh. I see her.
Oh, that's better. We're not ant size any longer.
However big you want it.
That's good. That's perfect. Yeah, just so that I
Okay.
can see it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You just always go in that little corner. As long as you have a double arrow, you can shrink it or
All
expand
right,
it.
good deal. Thank you. All right, we still have 5 minutes.
How are you on water? Are those two bottles doing okay?
That's fine, thank you.
Mr. Easton and Mr. Hanson, any more water?
I've got one more back here, so I'm good, but
Okay,
I think we're good.
okay, sounds good.
All right, just so y'all didn't think I was crazy, I put a minute entry on your tables. And that was what I was referencing on Friday. When I was talking about the remaining claims left to be tried by the jury, on page 2 of that minute entry, that's where I got that information. Where the claims in this case that will be decided by the jury are limited to plaintiff's claim for fraud and consumer fraud. Remaining claims, if presented, shall be decided to the court.
I thought you said the quiet title was going to be decided by the jury as well.
But I decided that when we came here because there's an equitable claim as well as a legal claim, so I added that. But what I was saying, Blanchard had ordered just the 2 claims.
That's correct, what Blanchard had ordered. I thought you were just changing that to add. the
And
quiet.
I did change that, so the 3 claims that are going forward. But you had also thought that declaratory judgment was still going before the jurors as well as his, and that's not the case.
Okay,
And to be honest with you, I found that a little puzzling anyhow, because truly the declaratory judgment in this case would be the quiet title.
right,
It's the same thing.
right.
So the quiet title is what's going before the jurors, because declaratory judgment would be quieting the title. That would be the remedy, so it's the same thing. Okay, anyhow, with that said, I just wanted you to know where I got that from. Are we ready to call our jurors in? There's 3 minutes left.
So in my opening, I said that the quiet title was going to be decided by the jury. Is that now incorrect?
That's correct. It's
is
absolutely, that's correct.
Okay.
I just wanted you to understand, when I said that Judge Blanchard said that only 2 claims are going forward to the jury, this is where I got that from.
Understood.
But I added the quiet title because I found that you had an equitable claim, which would have ordinarily been tried to the jury. Excuse me, that they had the equitable claim, my apologies. But yours is actually a legal claim because you want them removed. And because it's equitable and legal issues, that's why I added that one.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We have 3 minutes. Do we want to call them in or wait the 3 minutes? You ready? Ready?
Yes.
All right, so if they're ready, let's go. And we will take a 15-minute break at 3. Okay.
I knew I was going to forget my bottle in the bathroom. Forgot my coffee bottle.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect that we are in the presence of the parties, counsel, and the jury. Welcome back, and thank you for being timely. This is the evidence portion of the trial. The plaintiff is going to call his first witness. We will take another break at 3 o'clock. It'll be a 15-minute break, and we will close today at 4:30. Counsel, are you ready to call your first witness?
I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may proceed.
I'm going to be calling a custodian of record for PNC, formerly BBVA Compass Bank.
You're welcome to do so.
His name is going to be Kevin Mercurio, Mercurio, I believe.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this witness was not disclosed.
Which exhibits are you going to reference?
Going to be referencing bank records, exhibits 1 through 14, which were produced by subpoena from Compass Bank.
By subpoena. Okay.
That name
We
was never
challenged
mentioned.
that subpoena for validity because there's issues with the issuance of it.
You are welcome to question the witness with regard to its validity. You may call him in.
And I'm sorry, it's Mr. Mercado?
Mercurio. Kevin
thank you.
Mercurio.
I thought he was supposed to give foundational evidence.
You're welcome to question the witness.
Going here?
All right,
Actually, I can take you this.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome to come this way.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Let us know when you're comfortable. And if you can make sure the microphone's near your mouth so we can all hear you, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Hang on. Sir, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You do solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Counsel, you may proceed.
Sir, would you please state your name?
My name is Kevin Mercurio.
And where do you work at?
I work for PNC Bank.
And what do you do at your place of employment?
So I'm a risk and loss prevention advisor.
And as part of that, do you secure that the records kept by your firm are accurate and true?
Yes, I do.
And you mentioned that you're at PNC Bank now. I'm going to be showing you some exhibits that reference BBVA Compass Bank. Why are you here to talk about BBVA Compass Bank records?
So PNC acquired BBVA USA back in 2021.
And did they merge?
They purchased the bank, so BBVA USA is a part of PNC now.
All right. And so you can testify here about the records that BBVA Compass Bank produced to us prior to the merger then as well?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. The exhibits I'm going to show you are going to be bank records, and I'm going to produce those for you in a minute. But as part of your job as a custodian, are you a custodian of records essentially?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of what you do you ensure that, can you testify that the exhibits that we're going to be produced here, your bank records, constitute a memorandum, a report, record, or data compilation?
Yes.
All right. And do the records your business produced constitute such a record or memorandum or data compilation?
Yes.
And were the records that you produced made by a person with knowledge of the facts, made from information transmitted by a person with knowledge of the facts?
Yes.
Okay. And were the records in the exhibit I'm going to show to you made at or near the time of the acts, events, conditions, opinions, or diagnosis appearing in those records?
Yes.
And are the records that I'm going to show you made as a part of the regular practice of the bank?
Yes.
And the records I'm going to show you in these exhibits, are they kept in the course the normal course of a regularly conducted business activity?
Yes, they are.
And did you also, as part of the records that you produce a certificate, or pardon me, a custodial certificate
Yes, we did.
avowing to the authenticity of the records? Is that correct?
That is correct.
May I approach?
Show defendants first and tell us what number it is.
I'm showing exhibit number 77.
Thank you. All right, you may approach the witness.
I'll let you see exhibit number 77 if you would there. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
Was this exhibit produced by your bank or BBVA Compass Bank that is now part of your PNC Bank?
Yes, it was.
All right. And does this certificate avow that the records have been produced according to, that they are regularly kept business records?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, based on Arizona Rules of Evidence 90211, I'm offering exhibits 1 through 14 into admission as these are the records that were produced.
Object, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, if you wish, I can go through each one of those exhibits separately as part of that.
Object, Your Honor.
Go ahead, what's your objection?
The records request that he's referring to is a request, not a subpoena number on this documents that he's going to submit exhibits under.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
The document he showed us contains a number handwritten on it of 1017-2287.
You mean the exhibit 77, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and you're objecting to exhibit 77, why?
That's not a subpoena number issued by BBVA Compass Bank, and it's not one by PNC Bank either. It is a request number from a government agency for records.
Sir, can you tell me what exhibit 77 is before you?
On the bottom,
What is the document that you're looking at?
What is it titled?
the title is Electronic Business Records Affidavit.
And is that something that you have knowledge of?
Yes, it is.
And is that made in the regular course of business, which contains information about the business activities, events, or transactions?
Yes, it was.
That falls under the business records exception. So what is your objection?
The objection is it's not a subpoena issued number that's on it that's referencing this documents. It is a government request from Adult Protective Agency.
Okay, you can
That-
cross-examine him over your objection. Those are admitted, 1 through 14.
All right. And may I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You need to show them first, right?
Let me look at exhibit number 1, and I just want to confirm. Actually, let me take you back to the first one you looked at. How many records did you produce there?
970 pages.
Okay, looking at exhibit number 1, is this one of the accounts that you produced pursuant to that subpoena?
Yes, it is.
Very good. And what's the last page number on that exhibit, please?
It's 311.
All right, so that's not 970, and that would make sure, that would tell us why we have other exhibits, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Showing exhibit number 2.
Just a blank page.
May I approach?
You may.
Showing you exhibit number 2. If you'd look through those, please.
Certainly.
Everything from BBVA. His engineer.
Okay, I've done that.
All right, having looked over those records, are those part of the records that you produced, the 970 pages?
Yes, it is.
And looking at the last page of that, can you tell us what the page number is on that, please? It'll say,
It's 309.
all right, thank you.
Whose is it? What account is it? Yeah. Still don't see account name.
Didn't on the other ones either. Eight two.
Okay. This is her personal account.
Showing you what's marked as exhibit number 3, please, if you could take a look at those records.
Okay.
Having looked at those records, are those part of the 970 documents you produced pursuant to the subpoena?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And what's the final page number on that, please?
It is 373.
All right. And may I see the document for just a moment, please? Approach.
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's marked as exhibit number 4. If you would please take a look at that account, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Okay.
Having reviewed those records, are those part of the document production that BBVA Compass made of the 970 pages you turned over pursuant to subpoena?
Yes, they are.
Thank you, sir. Showing you what's marked as exhibit number 5, if you look those over as well.
So,
Having reviewed those records, is this part of the 970 pages that your company produced and request to it by a subpoena?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Approach.
Yes.
Showing you what's marked as exhibit number 6, if you take a look at that, please.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Having reviewed those records, is this part also of your production of the 970 records that you produced?
Yes,
No?
yes, they are.
Thank you, sir. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you exhibit number 7. If you take a look at that, please. Having reviewed those records, is this also a part of the records you produce with the 970 pages of documents from BBVA Compass Bank?
Yes, they are.
And what is the last page number on that, please?
It's 605.
Thank you, sir. May I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's marked as exhibit number 8. If you take a look at those as well, please. Thank you, sir. Having reviewed those records in Exhibit 8, are these also part of the production that Compass Bank made that included 970 pages of bank records?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And the last page on that?
It's 680.
I guess,
I don't know.
Showing you what's marked as Exhibit number 9. You take a look at those records as well, please. And when you're done, let me know.
Okay.
Having reviewed Exhibit number 9, can you confirm that this is part of the 970 pages of documents that you disclosed pursuant to subpoena?
Yes.
And the last page number on that, please?
It's 947.
And approach. Showing what's marked as Exhibit number 10. Take a look at that, please.
Okay.
Having reviewed those records in Exhibit number 10, can you confirm this is part of the disclosure that Compass Bank made pursuant to our subpoena?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And if you look at the last page number on that, please. Can you tell us what that is?
946.
All right. Now, I want you to look at Exhibit 9 and 10 together. Exhibit number 9, the one you looked at just before this, had the last page of 947. Can you look at the pages prior to that? I think that you're going to find that it has a couple pages that are out of order.
Yes, before the 947, it's 793.
Thank you. And then looking at Exhibit 10, the last one I gave you, could you do the same thing and tell us what the last next to the last page number is before the 946 page number you testified to?
$792.
Thank you. Thank you. May I approach?
You may.
Showing what's marked as exhibit number 11. If you take a look at those, please.
Okay.
Having reviewed those records, can you confirm that exhibit number 11 is part of the 970 pages that BBVA Compass produced pursuant to our subpoena?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And the first page and the last page of that particular exhibit?
The first page is 752. The last page is 771.
Thank you. May I approach?
You may.
Showing what's marked as exhibit number 12, if you take a look at those as well.
Okay.
Could you also give the date range on that one?
One moment, sorry, almost done here. Okay.
Having reviewed exhibit number 11, can you confirm this is part of the production of records BBVA Compass made in response to our subpoena?
Just to clarify, this one, is this 12, I believe?
I'm sorry, exhibit 12. I'm
Okay.
sorry, yes.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And can you tell us the last page number on that, please?
It's 824.
Thank you.
That's interesting. You do creative work.
Motion to strike this comments, Your Honor.
Motion to strike is granted.
May I approach?
You may.
Showing what's marked as exhibit number 13, please. You take a look at those, sir?
Certainly. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Having reviewed exhibit number 13, can you confirm that that exhibit 13 is part of the records Compass Bank produced in response to our subpoena?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And the last page number on that?
932.
Thank you.
Those are the account guides.
That's fine.
They're not ours.
That's fine. These are deposit tickets.
You mean,
Showing what's marked as exhibit number 14. Take a look at those.
Okay. Okay.
Having reviewed exhibit number 14, can you confirm that this exhibit also was part of the 970 pages of documents that were produced by BBVA Camp?
Yes. Yes.
Pursuant to our
Sorry.
subpoena? No worries. Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to ask some questions of the witness about what's on the documents, but I think I need to move them into evidence first.
correct.
So I'm going to do that under the previously cited evidentiary rule 902.11 as self-authenticating.
And what about Exhibit 77?
My apologies, Your Honor. Thank you. 77 as well. 77 was part of your production of records pursuant to subpoena. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Objection. They
So-
haven't been validated.
Now, that's all the records that he's reviewed, Exhibit 77 and 1 through 14. Do you have objections to the admission of those exhibits?
They do.
And state your objection for the record.
It wasn't properly produced through a subpoena.
Your objection is overruled. Exhibit 77, 1 through 14 is admitted as a business record exception.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Mercurio, I know I've given you 15 different exhibits there, 1 through 14 and 77. On the 1 through 14, I'd like your assistance, if you could, to tell me the last 4 digits of each account in each exhibit, and then who the account is titled in. And I'm going to come up here and kind of keep track of what your responses are, if that's all right.
Okay.
So for exhibit number 1, what are the last 4 digits that are showing there?
You all can't see that easel, can you? Yeah. Yeah, if you can pull it down here, or we can pull it down later, just let me know what your plan is, but they can't see it over there.
Okay, I'll go ahead and try and get it down there. This part I don't know how to navigate. Am I gonna go back around through here? Or do I collapse it and bring it through?
You might be able to collapse it and just bring it here. Otherwise, you're welcome to turn on our projector and have whatever displayed onto the screens as well. So, I don't know how to do this because it's not our courtroom. But give me just a second. I got that sign. I'm not sure where you want this set up, Mr. Easton.
I'm not sure either. Let's try it kind of halfway in between here.
Bring it back here and do it from here so that way defendants can see as well.
Fair enough.
I did a black marker over there. His pen's not going to work for them to see that. Thank you. Let's see if I can. Thanks, Veronica.
No problem.
Even if it doesn't lock, as long as it's really safe. You got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Can I ask the jury if they can see my handwriting?
Yes.
Is
But just give us a nod. Can you see that writing or not? All right, thanks.
that large enough?
Custodian, Mr.
Can you see or no? All right. Just write bigger.
All right.
And say the numbers.
So for Exhibit 1, what are the last 4 digits on there, please?
It's 5906.
5906. And who's the name on the account?
So it's a business account. It's GARPDON, GARP, D as in David, ON, LLC.
All right, thank you. And then Exhibit 2.
The last 4 digits are 7483.
And the name on the account?
And if there's 2 names, would I give both of them to you? Okay. It's Gary Johansson
Okay.
and Donna Johansson.
And then Exhibit 3, please.
The number is 8285. And the name is Donna Johansson.
Thank you. And Exhibit 4.
The number is 8084.
And the name?
The name is Gary Johansson.
Thank you. And number 5.
The number is 7834.
And the name?
The name is Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina this is Castelli.
Okay. And then Exhibit number 6.
The number is 8091.
All right.
The name is Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli.
And exhibit number 7.
The number is 6430.
And the name on the account?
Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli.
And exhibit number 8.
The number is 1190. And the name is Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli.
And exhibit number 9, please.
All right, the number is 1239. The names Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli.
Okay, and then exhibit number 10, please.
The number is 8150.
And the name?
The name is Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli.
Okay, and then look at exhibit number 11, please.
The number is 5224. The name is Nicholas Casavelli.
And to be clear, Nicolina's name is not on this account?
No, it is not.
Thank you. Exhibit number 12, please.
Okay, the account number is 3094.
And the name on the account?
This is a business called Aspire, A-S, P as in Paul, I-R-E, LLC.
Thank you. And exhibit number 13?
Last 4 digits of the account number, it's 5756.
And the name on the account?
This is in the business as well, Aspire, LLC.
Thank you. If you could look at exhibit 14, please.
The last 4 digits of the account number is 7545.
And the name on this account, please?
It's a business account. It's 3, then D as in David, then V as in Victor, F as in Frank, X, Studios, LLC.
Thank you. And that's all the records that you have, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much. With that, Your Honor, I'll step aside and let we kind of cross.
Very well. Cross-examination, questions for this witness?
You currently work for PNC Bank, correct?
That is correct.
How long have you worked for PNC Bank?
Can you hear him? One shaking no, talking to the mic, thank you.
Sorry. How long have you worked for PNC Bank?
I've been with PNC Bank and the banks that were acquired for 42 years.
You've worked for PNC for 42 years.
You know, PNC and, for example, they acquired BBVA, which was Compass Bank.
What was the initial bank you were hired at?
It was called United Bank of Arizona.
And that was a local bank, not a nationwide bank?
Correct.
Were you present at the time of these production of records? At BBVA Bank?
Yes, I worked for BBVA at the time when these were produced. Correct.
Did you actually produce these records yourself?
No, I did not.
Have you done a comparative analysis of what's before you with the records of BBVA Bank?
Yes, I have.
Why wasn't we informed of that analysis? Or you just right here, is that the analysis you're looking at? Are you just reviewing these?
Well, I'm reviewing these, but I'm familiar with the statements and the, for example, checks, withdrawal slips, deposit slips that would be produced by BBVA at the time that these were produced.
Do you have a photographic memory?
Not sure if I understand that question.
Do you have a photographic memory? If you see something once, 10 years later, can you recall it in exact detail?
I can recall in looking at what BBVA would have provided to clients back that these are records that would be produced in the past that I would have seen, yes.
They resemble records that BBVA would produce, is what you're saying.
Yes, correct.
So you don't have a photographic memory of these exact records?
No, no.
Okay. Are you familiar with BBVA's subpoena production process?
Yes.
How about their government request process for like a protective agency or any government request for records?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Overruled, out loud if you can answer.
So what would happen if the bank received a subpoena or request, whether it be from a legal standpoint or some type of a subpoena that we got? It could be sent, it could be produced directly to the subpoena processing area, for example. It could be served to one of our branches, to an employee that would need to forward that on to be done as well.
Do you not have a statutory agent here that was here in Arizona to accept service of process for BBVA Bank?
Are you saying, I don't know if I understand that question.
CT Corporate Systems, was that not your statutory agent for receiving service of process for subpoenas?
I am unsure of that.
Really? It's interesting. But yet you're a custodian of record and you don't know the process of subpoena process?
Objection, argumentative.
No.
Sustained.
Do you know the process of how subpoena process works on BBVA in the state of Arizona?
So if we're subpoenaed for copies of documents, for example,
Yes.
again, it could be sent directly to the subpoena area. It could be produced. It could be sent to the branch, and then we forward it to the legal records area that would produce the subpoenas.
You're saying that it's legal in Arizona to serve a subpoena upon branch level of BBVA Compass Bank
Yes,
in 2017.
yes.
Why did BBVA Bank retain CT Corporate Systems then?
I am unsure. I do not know.
Do you not know who they are?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
They are the,
No testifying, you're asking questions.
so you understand then that BBVA processes subpoenas in their legal department, correct?
Correct, in the subpoena processing area, in the legal area.
And they assign a certain number system to it?
It's for tracking purposes, yes.
Can you kind of recite a general number?
I cannot.
Can you give a general format of the subpoena number?
No, I cannot.
So you don't know how the numbering system works upon a document that would be produced for a subpoena or a government request. You don't know how that would be tracked.
I do not.
And yet you can sit and look at these documents and tell me that you know these documents are true and correct.
Objection, Your Honor, argumentative.
Overruled, out loud if you can answer.
In looking at the documents that I reviewed today, these are copies of statements from BBVA Compass, along with deposit slips, withdrawal slips,
You're-
checks that were
May I stop you?
No,
for-
you may not. Let him finish his answer, then you can ask your next question.
checks that were deposited, checks that were written, all the transactions on the account. When it comes to the business documentation, that was included with the business statements as well. So is the documents that pertain to each of those accounts that is here.
You're giving a general overview of documents. You're not giving specifics. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correct? Your description of what the documents you're describing is a general overview of a document that might be submitted for like a counter credit or a deposit slip, but you can't say that exact document matches the bank records at this time.
Objection, Your Honor, compound question and argumentative.
So staying on compound question, do you understand the question, sir? He asked several things at once. Do you understand what he's asking?
Let me rephrase it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Are those documents exact copies that's on the bank records from your review here today?
In reviewing these are copies of all the statements and checks, and like I described.
Are they exact copies of what you're stating BBVA has on record?
In looking at these, I feel that they are, yes, but I did not produce these.
Not feeling, knowing, no speculation, knowing. You're here as a witness on these documents.
Yes.
Please give us your professional opinion if these are the exact copies of documents.
Yes, yes.
And when did you produce these documents?
Back in, I'd have to look at all these documents again, but in reviewing these look like 2016 and 2017.
And they've been in your custody ever since? These documents?
Those were the dates of the statements. I want to clarify.
I didn't ask that. Are these documents been in your custody since then?
Irrelevant, Your Honor, objection.
Not irrelevant.
I'm not sure why you're asking they be in his custody. So clarify what you mean by that.
He just,
No, just clarify what you mean by that. When you say in his custody, the bank's custody, in his house, what do you mean by that?
in his opinion, he's stating that these are exact documents, but yet these documents have not been in his custody for 8 years.
I don't know. Have they, sir? Where have they been? Where have these documents been is what he's trying to get at.
These are documents that were produced from bank records, so they were not in my custody.
Thank you. Were you retained to be here today?
I don't know if I understand.
Are you being compensated for testifying today?
No.
And you worked for BBVA in 2016 and 2017?
I did, yes.
Do you know the structure of a subpoena number for PNC Bank
I do not.
or a request for government request? Can you tell me if those were produced from a government request or a subpoena?
These are copies of records that were produced by BBVA Compass. I don't believe that it states. I do see the electronic business records affidavit that a bank employee did sign and said, completed this affidavit that says that she is a custodian of records of BBVA Compass. I don't know if you want the name that is on here.
No, that's fine.
So the individual that completed this affidavit completed this subpoena, and she signed this affidavit, and she is the custodian of records of BBVA Compass. And she's familiar with the manner in which the records are created and maintained. And based on that, she states what she included here, which is the DVD from BBVA Compass. And she also states that there were 970 pages that were kept as a course of regular business activity.
Does it state on that document subpoena anywhere?
One moment, please. And I just want to add, because I know you were asking, but the attached records are the original records or exact duplicates of the original records. It's a regular practice of BBVA Compass to make the records and make this type of record at or near the time of each act. And it's a regular practice of BBVA Compass to make them available by, for example, with the DVD, for example. And she completed this on November 16th of 2017.
Thank you. That brings us to the 3 o'clock time. That's our time for our break. We're going to break for 15 minutes from 3 to 3:15. Please remember the admonition. You're welcome to talk amongst yourselves about this case, but with no one else back in the jury room when you're all assembled. We'll be back here at 3:15. Thank you.
All rise.
Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect. The jurors are excused. We are in the presence of the witness as well as the parties. We're going to take a 15-minute break and we'll reconvene with cross-examination. Thank you.
Yeah, I hadn't finished asking questions.
You'll reconvene with cross-examination at 3:15.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All rise.
Can you use the restroom or anything?
No,
15 minutes.
Get a little more.
You're allowed to get up as well during the 15-minute break. So if you need to get up and move around or stretch.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm okay.
Okay, very good.
Is it okay that I stay? Since I noticed everyone else left.
That's fine.
Okay.
Do you have enough water? It looks like you have
Yeah,
enough water.
I brought some too, so I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, go ahead. So you already have some chocolate. Awesome.
Yeah, just standing. No, I'm fine.
Good.
It's one thing, I'm really fine. I don't get sick very much.
Good.
I didn't have a cold as you did.
Nice.
And I didn't get the flu yet.
Hopefully
So I
won't.
hope they all stay away from me.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So, yeah, I've had COVID twice now.
Pardon?
I've had COVID twice.
Oh my goodness. Did you have the shot?
Yeah.
Me too. Had the boost. Had the flu shot. But so did my friend. And she got the flu again.
Yep, we're fine. Thank you.
I'm tired of sitting though.
I get it.
I know you mentioned coffee earlier. Like I said, I make it I'm usually in the morning and the afternoon, so I can always bring that out here if you want to refill your coffee and stuff. We've got coffee house and stuff like that.
Good for now.
If they don't have to know, let me know.
Okay.
And we still have about 7 minutes left while everybody's on break, so feel free to be relaxed, go do whatever, or hang out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
He's been in the business for a long time, more than 2 years.
What's that?
He's been in the business for a long time.
Yes, yeah. He's a good one.
Oh, let me go ask Commissioner Butcher. Wanted to know. Okay. She's not in until 4. So. Yeah. Okay. So I'll let her brief her too. No problem.
Did you tell him we were in that?
There's still no rain outside. I brought my umbrella just in case. And I had one. No, it's not. I just looked out the window. There's no rain. It was raining? Oh, no. Okay.
They're supposed to,
Yeah, I saw that it was supposed to, and I'm just like, a lot of fog. I know. And what's horrible is I just had my husband's truck descaled for him.
I imagine he's used to that.
And then the very next
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I was. I'm like,
that's awkward.
well, that's your fault for not parking in the garage. What's up? Oh, I know.
It's okay.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
And sir, help yourself to any of those several water bottles that are right here. Just in case you run out, you're all good. Those are all fresh, good to go.
All right, appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
problem. extras over here, and then I'll bring some more out from our jury room, but I'm letting them take it. You're welcome. I'm so afraid I gotta hit that thing, so I keep trying to go this way, and I keep like running into poor Elizabeth. I'm like,
I know, and I keep scooting this way.
oh, that's okay.
Put it down.
All right, let's grab them.
Okay. You want to bring them?
Yes.
Got it, all right. Line them up in the miracle. Commissioner, do you want me to leave the easel there, or would you like me to move it over to the side?
No, it's fine for now. Thank you.
No problem.
She can still see me.
I can still see you.
I just like to make sure that everybody can see her and she can see out and see everybody.
Well, we know they can hear me.
Yes.
Probably would have been easier on there.
Yeah, it might have been.
Digital is always better.
But I don't know if he was standing there, if you all could see it.
All rise.
Not really.
What about the overhead?
Yeah, you can't go ahead and be able to put pictures there to produce, and it will go up on the screens, both of these screens. And then if there's a witness, that goes on their monitor also. So yeah, it's like, say you take one of these and put them right there, we'll get it to display everywhere.
You don't take the person halfway.
Welcome back. Please be seated. Let the record reflect the presence of the parties, counsel, jury, as well as the witness. We left off with cross-examination by defense. You may proceed.
I'm able to present him a document, right? That's in evidence.
Sure.
The question you didn't ask, the affidavit, does it state subpoena on there anywhere?
There is a number on the bottom left, or I'm not sure what that represents.
Would that be a production number, maybe?
I don't want to guess. I
You
could give you the number, though, that's on the bottom left of this, is 10-17-2287.
you just testified before the break that that was production from a subpoena, but yet the affidavit doesn't state subpoena.
Well, I was looking at the electronic business records affidavit that Lisa Moore with BBVA Compass completed that stated that she provided 970 pages of documents, including the business activity in the account.
Correct, I understand. But was it for a request for records, or is it for production of a subpoena?
And I'm sorry. Sir, are you referencing Exhibit 77?
That is correct.
Thank you.
One moment, please. It's signed and notarized, but I don't see where it reflects. It states that these are actual documents from BBVA Compass, but I'm looking at this and I don't believe it states if it was from a subpoena or from another type of request, as you had mentioned.
Does it state who requested it on there?
It does not.
So exhibit, for my clarification. Exhibit 77 doesn't state it's a subpoena or who requested it, or what type of document or what type of request. Is that correct?
So Exhibit 77, it's called an electronic business records affidavit. It just states, it states here that she's a custodian of records of BBA Compass and what was provided.
But it doesn't state what was provided other than documents, but how, whether it's a subpoena or a production request.
It does not.
Okay. I like them.
I'm sorry?
Show him an exhibit, if it's okay.
Just whatever exhibit you grab to show him, you need to show counsel first and then approach the witness.
Of course.
And can you say what number that is so I know?
Number 134.
134, thank you.
That is correct. I have to put it up on the, for the jury to see.
Whatever you want to do.
And any of those, well, you said the affidavit doesn't state who requested or how, the process, whether it was request or subpoena, correct? Does it say who?
Would you like him to read it?
I understand it. I'm just trying to figure the right question to ask is, who requested the documents? Does it state on there?
It does not state on the electronic business records affidavit.
When a production is given, whether it's a request from like a government agency or it's through a subpoena, is there normally an invoice given?
It would be a request. I don't know if I would call that an invoice, but there would be a request to the bank to provide records. You know, for example, a subpoena that the bank would need to act upon.
Again, but that document doesn't state subpoena. And would there be a receipt that states subpoena? Or an index of what was produced that's related to either who requested or what type of production it was?
I do not have that here.
I'd like to submit number 134.
Are you going to show the witness
Yes.
what it is? Okay, so approach the witness and see if he can identify what that is.
Thank you. Sorry, you did this.
And after you've had an opportunity to review that, sir, if you could tell us what it is, if you know what it is, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so this is Exhibit 134. This is an invoice. It's on BBVA Compass letterhead. And it states here, I don't know how much you'd want me to read, but it says, please find the attached copies of the bank records requested. If you have any questions and need further information, you may call me, and there's a phone number there as well. And then it breaks down the charges, for example, clerical time, signature cards, the DVD, and it just says remit. The total was $217.54 and remit to the address of the research department in care of Lisa Moore, who is the individual that completed the affidavit, which was Exhibit 77, at your earliest convenience.
Is there a date on that exhibit, sir?
Yes, it's November 16th, 2017.
Thank you.
Your Honor, before he testifies on it, I do believe it has to be offered into evidence.
He hasn't yet.
Okay.
Any objection to the admission of Exhibit 134?
No, Your Honor.
134 is admitted.
Come on. There we go. I don't know if I can see that good enough. Is the number on this document?
Would you like us to turn the lights off and see if it's easier for you to see?
I'm fine with it. Can everybody
Can
see?
you all see it? Okay, all right.
Got a little bright there for a second. Is the number on this document the same on the affidavit?
Yes, it is.
You read this document. Does it state on here anywhere subpoena?
I'm looking at it again. And it cuts off at DVD, so I'm not sure if it does. One moment. No, it does not.
Does it state who this is addressed to, this invoice?
The invoice is addressed to Brian L. Easton at Provident Law.
And what's it in regard?
So it says regard to, and has that number that appears above on the invoice and on the affidavit, which is 10-17-2287, and then a slash in Garbden LLC.
Okay. Do you know who the parties are in this litigation today you come to testify?
I do not.
May I inform you?
No, you're asking him questions. Thank you.
So this document does not state it's connected to the exhibits that's set before you. Is that correct?
Well, I would just say, and I don't know if this is, what I would say is the way I would take this invoice and because the number that is the same that's on the bottom left of the affidavit matches. And also we have statements for Garpton LLC also in the exhibits. So based on what I can see on this document with the number and the name and the fact that that number appears here, I feel it's related.
You think, for my clarity, that the affidavit and the invoice is related to these documents, but you're not sure how the production of these documents, whether it's subpoena or request?
That's correct. And the reason, just to clarify, the reason I think they're related is because of the number that appears on the invoice, that 10-17-2287, which again matches what's on the affidavit from Lisa Moore. Again, along with the Garpin LLC. I hope I'm clarifying that, but it's matches the the business documentation we received for that account.
If a party or person was to request a subpoena history from BBVA Bank or PNC, is it normal practice to give a history of how many subpoenas would have been issued in a litigation?
Objection, speculative.
Overruled all out if you can answer.
I'm unsure.
Would you know a subpoena history from BBVA Bank if it was presented to you?
A history like on a client's?
Say this litigation. Say I was to request a history of how many subpoenas were issued in this litigation from BBVA Bank, how many that they produced production to.
Yeah, I would not know that.
But you'd know what the forms look like being the custodian of records.
I would, yeah, I know that these are actual copies of statements and et cetera, the checks and deposit slips and such.
I'd like to show another exhibit.
Yes, sure. Again, show it to council and then tell us what number it is.
This is exhibit 135.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
You have to lay the foundation. What is it? What's the date on it? Does he recognize it? When was it from? Go ahead.
Can I just see it again, please? Thank you. Well, this is exhibit 135, and this is the first time that I've seen this, but it's documentation that CT Corporation appears to submit a subpoena to BBVA, and it went from our legal department at BBVA to our subpoena research department.
Objection, Your Honor. Before he testifies off it, they have to lay foundation, please.
Do you understand what he's saying?
The foundation, Your Honor, is this is a subpoena of our bank records.
What you have to lay foundation. Is it an authentic document? What's the date? Who authored it? So
Well, there's several documents. One moment. Let me just take a quick look here. The service of process transmittal, that's the first page, is dated May 20th, 2019.
Is it related to the production of,
talk loud. The jurors can't hear you. Neither can I.
is it related to the production of documents from BBVA Bank?
Yes. And it's showing a subpoena fulfillment that our legal department at BBVA sent to our subpoena research department, and that is dated May 21st, 2019. And then it goes into, detail because CT Corporation served this to the bank.
So it is a document the bank would have produced.
Yes.
Evidence?
You're moving 135 into evidence. Any objection?
Your Honor, I believe that I think I heard that there were multiple documents in that, and I think that he may have to lay foundation for each document that's part of that exhibit.
So go through your documents. You have 520, 2019, 521. You'll have to lay foundation for each one of them. Does he recognize what that is? Where is it from? How does he know what it is?
In this document here?
Yes. If you have multiple dates, you're going to have to go through each one of your documents.
Through the document there. What does the first page state?
Okay, so the first page is the service of process transmittal. It's dated May 20th, 2019. It's on letterhead from C as in cat, T as in Tom Corporation. And that consists of 2 pages.
On that page, does it state any other pertinent information as to who requested, what they requested from BBVA Bank?
Objection, Your Honor. He can't testify off of it until he gets it admitted.
Simply asking him to read it.
He can't read it into evidence, Your Honor, until it's.
You can't read it into evidence. You need to ask him questions, not to read from the document.
That document, is it attached to any other documents with that one?
Yes, there are other documents,
What is
yes.
that document?
Okay, after those 2 pages, we have a document filed in the Superior Court, State of Arizona, in and for the County of Maricopa. It's actually a subpoena. It's addressed to the custodian of records for Compass Bank in care of CT Corporation, is a statutory agent, and it has their address. I don't know if you'd like me to read it, but it's in Phoenix, Arizona.
Are you questioning the authenticity of the document, counsel?
No.
Counsel, not you.
Authenticity, no, Your Honor. Foundation.
So he has the 5/20/2019, lay foundation as to the rest of the attachments. What is it? Does he know what that is? Would he have any knowledge?
What type of document is that?
The second document,
Yes.
this is a subpoena.
What's it requesting?
to produce and permit inspection or copying of the following designated documents, electronically stored information, or tangible things pursuant to the provisions of the Arizona Rules of Civil Procedure. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 7 pages of that subpoena, and it breaks down on the additional pages, records. It goes through details on what is being subpoenaed as far as like account names and such.
Does it cover anything other than bank records?
Account statements, checks, deposit slips, withdrawal slips, correspondence, letters, emails, screenshots.
Does it request any prior subpoenas?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation hasn't been laid to where it's been admitted he can't testify off the document.
And I'm going to explain to you one time what foundation is, and you have a responsibility to lay the foundation. So what you're trying to do is elicit from this witness whether he, number one, whether it's relevant, and 2, whether it complies with the local rules. Is he familiar with the exhibit? Does he understand what it is? Is it genuine? Does it relate to this particular case? You have to make all those links that it's relevant within this time frame, that it's associated with the case through this witness before it can be admitted.
The first document is relating to the second subpoena there. Who's requesting a production?
I'm sorry, the first document?
No, the first document relates to the subpoena.
Okay.
Who's the requester on the subpoena requesting documents?
One moment.
Your Honor, same objection. He's asking him to testify off of a document that hasn't been admitted into evidence yet.
I'm trying to get to the point it's relevant. Who's asking so it can be relevant?
Overrule, I'm going to allow the question. Who's requesting the document?
It states you have been subpoenaed by Nicholas Casavelli and Nicolina Castelli on the first page of the subpoena.
And it is requesting bank records, correct?
That is correct.
And could be related to these records that is sitting here next to you, correct?
Yes.
Does it request anything other than bank records?
It states any subpoenas issued to BBVA Compass Bank and or from July 2017 to the current date related to this litigation, related to any accounts held by, and then it goes through several names.
That would state relevance to this and the records next to you, correct?
Yes.
Are you moving to admit Exhibit 135? You have to say the words.
No, to admit.
Any objection by plaintiff?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know that he's testified that he is familiar with this record. So
Ask the question.
Are you familiar with this record?
No.
But you're familiar with documents. It's not from subpoena or production, but yet you're not sure of documents or that record that would be submitted to BBVA.
Argumentative, Your Honor.
Overruled out loud if you can answer.
I'm not familiar with this document that I'm holding, Exhibit 135.
Would you say that's a production number from BBVA on it?
I can't say, and I don't want to guess.
The subpoena does.
She's talking to you from a distance. You may want to talk to her.
Doesn't the subpoena say it's for production of documents? That's what he's asking.
Would this have been submitted to BBVA and they would have produced documents in accord to Arizona law.
Yes, it's a subpoena that was sent to the custodian of records for Compass Bank.
And it's requesting our records?
It's requesting, there's various names here. So it says, do you want me to read what is, it says,
Objection, Your Honor, you can't read
Sustained,
from
you
it.
can't read from the document. Ask your questions.
Would this be the normal type of document submitted to BBVA for production of bank records under subpoena?
well, this is a subpoena addressed to Compass Bank that
Are you familiar with documents like this?
yes, I'm familiar with subpoenas.
So then you'd be for some, not maybe this exact document, but something similar to that.
That's correct, yes.
Moving to evidence now?
Any objection? He's moving 135 into evidence.
Same objection, Your Honor. He's
Over your objection, I'm going to allow it. 135 is admitted.
Thank you. You read this document, did you not? Sir, you read this
Yes, I
document?
did look at the document, yes.
In this document, does it not request a subpoena history as to how many was issued in this litigation?
Yes, and the subpoena on the second, I believe it's on the second page of the subpoena. So on the second page of the subpoena,
Not the subpoena, the document, leading document for the subpoena. Second page.
so on the first page of the service of process transmittal, it states nature of action, and that states subpoena dash banking records dash request for status of subpoena previously served.
On page 2, next page right there. What does it read? The last couple lines it begins.
Well, it says history, documents served, subpoena. I don't know if I'm looking at what you're looking for here, but it says date and hour of service by process server on 2/13/2019 at 14:52 to Steve Geisler Sr. at Compass Bank. And then there's a CT log number on the second page of the CT Corporation.
Does that indicate that a prior subpoena was issued from BBVA Bank for production from that subpoena? If that's indicated prior subpoena.
Can you hear him?
Move back over here.
Thank you.
Does that state on that document that there was a prior subpoena issued to the,
Well, I'm looking at this. It says date and hour of service, 2/13 of 2019. And the date on the service of process transmittal is 5/20 of 2019. So that's all it really states under the docket history.
and the second part where it's stating subpoena history? On the second page there.
Well, it does show docket history on this page, and but it does say a subpoena date. But again, sorry if I'm repeating this, but I just want to make sure I'm answering correctly. It says by process server on 2/13/2019 at 1452.
You've read the documents, the subpoena, and you stated that it does request the subpoena history and production of documents, correct?
It does, correct.
The documents that you're reading there, the first two, that's the leading document to the subpoena. The second page, it says history, correct?
The first 2 pages are service of process transmittal. It's almost like a transmittal that goes on top of the subpoena.
Correct. Where on there does it show any prior subpoenas issued?
I'm looking at these other pages, and then I'll respond. So when reviewing these documents, the only dates I see again on the service transmittal process is 5/20 of 19. And then the docket history only reflects one item, which is dated 2/13 of 2019.
And that one item, what would that be? Any ideas?
Well, it's a subpoena. It says by process server on 2/13 of 2019 to Steve Geisler, senior at Compass Bank. Again, has a log number for the CT Corporation, but I'm not familiar with that exact date, but it's very close to the service of process transmittal letter here as far as the date, but I'm not sure what that date represents. It's when it was served, it is what it says.
Does it state any time prior to those dates that any subpoena was submitted?
No, there's only, when you look at the docket history, there's only the one date of 2/13 of 2019.
Okay. Would that be the date of the production of those documents?
No, because this affidavit that Lisa Moore completed is dated November 16th of 2017.
So that would be that document you're reading here, Exhibit 134, would indicate only one prior subpoena was issued by BVA Bank, correct?
135.
135?
Oh, yeah, 135. Well, I'm reading the CT Corporation, the second page, and that's the only verbiage that appears under docket history.
Reading the document, you stated prior that it requests a subpoena history, correct?
That is correct. The subpoena that is attached does.
And the document is showing that there's only one prior subpoena, correct?
It's the subpoena 2/13 of 2019, yes.
And that date does not match those documents sitting next to you, the date on those documents.
No, the date on the documents are 11/16 of 2017.
Okay, so there's obviously a time difference for almost 2 years you're stating then, correct?
And from 11/16 of 17 to 2/13 of 19.
On the front of that document, is there a number handwritten on it?
Yes, it's partially cut off on the top, but it's 19-05 dash, and the rest of this is cut off a bit, but it's possibly, I don't know if I should, it appears to be 4008, but it is, the top is cut off a bit on the last 4 digits.
What year was that document issued?
The document with the number I just read was from 2019. I'm just making sure there's nothing else here. Yes, 2019.
And the attached subpoena, the date on the attached subpoena? The year? And the number on the front, you said the second number was on the front page. What number was that?
The number that I read up that was on the top?
Yes, you said this
Yeah.
was 19 first. What's
So-
that number?
I need to go back to the microphone. Thank you.
So the number on the top of the service of process transmittal is 19-05 dash, again, it's kind of cut off, but
What month was that?
it was
subpoena?
May, one moment. The cover sheet is May of 2019. And the subpoena is May of 2019 as well.
The first two numbers being 19 and then 05. Would that indicate that these documents was requested or issued on May of 2019?
I would not know that for a fact. I would be
Very good.
guessing or so, but I don't know that for a fact of what those numbers represent.
Well, you testified that the 1017-2287 was a number produced by BBVA, correct?
Well, that number is on the bottom of the electronic business records affidavit. I just saw that it was there. I don't know what that number represents, but it's on the bottom left of the affidavit that Lisa Moore with BBVA Compass completed.
Would it be a fair assessment to say it's a production number?
I really can't say because I'd be guessing, and I'm not comfortable to do so.
Well, in comparison to the document you have, does that number even relate to be the same?
No, it does not.
Can you explain the difference?
Of why the 19-05 4008 compared to the 1017-2287?
Yes.
No, I cannot.
But you testified that is a subpoena, correct?
Yes.
And attached to it is a history of prior subpoenas that was requested, correct?
It's a subpoena, and it's attached is the CT Corporation document. That's the service of process transmittal.
What do they do? CT.
They served the legal documentation.
Would they keep a record of how many subpoenas were served upon BBVA Bank for any particular litigation?
I am unsure if they would keep a record of that.
What is your
I would be
position?
guessing.
What is your position at BBVA Bank or PNC?
I'm a risk and loss prevention advisor.
What does that entail?
So I manage operations, risk, loss prevention, verify that things are done correctly and consistently,
Wouldn't this comparison of documents be in your field?
this would be sent to our subpoena processing department. And, for completion, and then they would review the items that were presented to BBVA Compass, and then make sure that we have the correct request, that it meets guidelines and the process of what we would need to then provide based on what is served to the bank. And then they would provide in that department, they would provide the documentation like what Lisa did.
And wouldn't they have a method of tracking what type of request it was, whether it's subpoena or request? A method, some sort? Would that not be in your area?
Well, I don't work in the subpoena department, but yes, all of these things would have to be tracked.
So why would there be different numbers on different documents?
I am unsure what those two numbers represent, so I can't answer
You
that.
just testified that was in your department, that you would know what this is.
We would send the documents to our subpoena research department. That's not something that I would produce. So we have an area of the bank that when we get a subpoena or other type of, we're served with some type of request, that is the area of the bank that will look at those documents that we're served with to ensure that, we follow the correct request. Let's say it's a subpoena or any other type of thing, that we're going to review it, make sure that it's proper as far as for us to complete that subpoena, and then they would actually do the subpoena in that subpoena processing department. But that is not something that I personally would be completing.
But it would go through your department.
It could go through the department or a branch, or it could go through various places in the bank.
But it's still in your department to oversee as risk management, correct? Otherwise,
Yes.
anyone could just submit a document and requesting documents. It has a specific trail it goes through before production is given.
Correct. So, I'm sorry. So when we receive a subpoena or other type of request, legal request, it could be sent to the bank in various manners. It could be, we could be served at a branch, for example. It could go directly to our subpoena processing department. It could be emailed to the bank. It could be mailed to the bank. And that area of the bank will produce the records according to make sure we're within guidelines on what we can do in timeliness, for example.
On the risk of sounding somewhat ignorant on it. But if it's your area, how do you distinguish between a subpoena request and a document request from a government agency?
So when we get requests in the bank, any type of request that is like a legal request, we look to see where that actually goes. And in this case of a subpoena, we'd go to the subpoena processing department. And then we have specific processes to follow to ensure it gets to the right area that needs to do it, so that it's done correctly and it's done timely.
So once production, it gets to the right department, and once production is given, how do you distinguish between subpoena production and government request production?
So those requests will go to the area of the bank, again, that produces these. So let's say it goes to the subpoena processing department. They're going to review the documentation that the bank received and look to see what's being requested, make sure that all the documents that we were provided meet again, the request for us to be able to do that. And then they're going to take it from there and produce what's needed and provide the documents to the requester.
How do you know then that they produced the right documents? You're in risk assessment, first, correct?
I'm a risk and loss prevention advisor with PNC.
So if someone submitted a subpoena, it would go to a certain department, correct?
That is true.
And if production was given, how would it be tracked so that it didn't get it mixed up with a government request or whatever?
So the bank, whether it be BBVA or PNC, once it gets to that department, they handle all of the legal part of it, and we don't. If it's served at a branch, for example, we just need to ensure that it gets to where it needs to go. But we're not having the items sent back to that branch, for example.
I understand. Like this document here, that's up here. How can you distinguish if this was a request or a subpoena if it's not stated on the document? How do you keep track of which is what I'm asking? And you testified that it was in your department that this would happen. Because you separate them to the right department, correct?
We send them to the department. I'm not in that department that's
I understand.
producing these.
But your department sends them to the proper department, correct?
Correct.
And that's where the numbers come in. Is this true? There has to be some type of tracking number?
Well, it could be something that would come to me. It could be something that could go to a branch. It could go to various areas. But what we do is we ensure that the documents and the request get to where it needs to go to ensure that the subpoena is handled accurately and timely. But we're not following through with those details because that's not part of what we would be doing if it's served in a branch, for example.
I understand. I understand the process that what you do and you forward it to the proper departments. I understand.
All right.
So once they get to the proper departments and comes out production, there has to be some way to track those productions, correct?
I would say yes, that the bank would track, because we're liable to make sure that we get, whether it's a subpoena or any other type of request, we have to act upon whatever is served to the bank and respond. But that's not something that I would be involved in at that point.
Okay. If they were through your department sent to the right areas and
Right.
production went out and they produced the wrong production, would that issue come to your department?
Not necessarily, because if somebody requested documents, and at that point the bank has received these documents, and the documents would more likely state who is requesting the documents and what to, where to send them, and again, the parameters, they would be working with that individual at that point. It would not go back to the branch unless somebody came into the branch, for example, to serve something else for, at the branch level. Otherwise, once it gets to our subpoena processing area, then they are managing that. We're not involved in that any longer at a branch level.
So, clarification. You're testifying that you don't know what department this 1017-2287 number would come from.
That is correct. I do not know.
So it could be a request or it could be a subpoena.
That is correct. I'm not sure what that number represents.
And the document
it looks like it might say subpoena on the bottom left, but it's I don't know that for a fact. So
what part says subpoena?
I see something that starts with an S, but SUBP. It's on the lower left of this affidavit.
How is that inscribed on the document?
It's handwritten on the document. It appears to be SUBP number 10-17-2287.
Is that anywhere else in the typed part of the document?
No, it is not. It's just handwritten on the bottom left below the notary of Lisa's signature.
But you stated those documents stated next to you, correct? That they are productions of BBVA.
All of these documents, yes.
But you're not sure how they were produced.
Well, they were produced at BBVA, and Lisa Moore is the custodian of records with BBVA Compass.
How were
and
they
she's
produced?
certified.
How were they produced? Through a subpoena or a request? Is my question.
Well, based on what appears on this affidavit, it appears to say subpoena 1017-2287.
Okay. Does it say it's a subpoena or does it appear to suggest?
Well, it's SUBP.
Does that state subpoena? Or does it suggest just a number?
Well, it does say BP.
Would it be
So-
normal bank practice for BBVA Bank to put the word subpoena on an affidavit in part of the document instead of hand scribed on the bottom corner?
I can't answer that since I wasn't a part of the area that would produce this affidavit.
You testified that you're in risk assessment.
He answered the question. Move on with your next question.
So your testimony is you can't state for a fact that that was a subpoena or a production, correct?
Right. What I'm taking on this Exhibit 77 is, just stating that Lisa Moore, being the custodian records of BBVA, created all of these documents, the 970 pages, and she signed it. It's notarized, and that number appears on the lower left.
But you're not stating subpoena or request. Is that part of your testimony?
Right, because I cannot tell, and I don't want to guess since I did not complete this.
I need to dig out a document if it's okay for a minute here.
Yes.
Mm. 114 and 116.
There is no 114.
It says there is on his list. Yeah, subpoena duces tecum affidavit, subpoena duces tecum affidavit of service. From 113 to 117.
His document, I can submit it. Can I not?
You're welcome to pull any documents you like.
Not yet.
Should be towards the end of all of them.
That's good.
Which number?
Is it 136?
Did you find it? Can't seem to locate number 117.
I'm not going through the exhibits. You all can look through the exhibits.
Maybe he knows where it is and it was
Ooh,
just
no, you can look through the exhibits.
okay. You can have a look. Yeah.
Should be. So, open hours. Document 121.
I couldn't hear you.
These are
Is that
confirmed
what-
copies.
This is 136. Are you familiar with this type of document?
I need to review it.
Yes. Which number is this? Okay, 121. That's good. This way.
Okay, make sure you mustn't be up.
Okay, thank you.
You familiar with that type of document?
It's similar to the one we just looked at, yes.
Your Honor, I believe this document this exhibit that's been presented has multiple parts to it. I think the first part talks about a subpoena, then there appear to be some email exchanges, and then followed by another subpoena. So I think you almost have to go part
You're
by
going to lay
part.
the foundation for the first subpoena, then the emails, then the last subpoena.
Okay. Would that be a type of document that would be submitted to BBVA and they would produce production from?
Objection, which document?
This is first subpoena.
So on the third page, there is a subpoena that's addressed to the custodian of records for BBVA Compass Bank. And this is six pages, dated June 27th of 2019.
Would it be relevant to any production of documents from BBVA Bank that is next to you?
I'm looking for the details here, or reviewing the details. It documents names similar to what is included in the copies of statements and related documents. It does reflect that file number 10-17-2287. I don't know if that answers the question. But that subpoena, it does include that.
It's inquiring about the 1017-2287.
Objection, Your Honor, hasn't been admitted to evidence yet. Can't
Sustained.
testify.
Would that document be something BBVA produced relevant to bank statements, accounts?
Well, this is a subpoena since it's a subpoena to the custodian of records for BBVA Compass Bank. And I mean, there's other information here, but it's just a subpoena related to accounts held by, and then it goes through the different names that appear in, the copies that we have.
The relevant documents, would they be produced, the accompanying documents, would they be produced by BVA through a subpoena?
Yes, if they were requested through a subpoena, yes, they would be produced.
Okay. And the final subpoena is?
The date on the subpoena?
The last subpoena that's in question. Who was the requester on that one, if you don't mind?
So on the upper left of the subpoena, it's Nick Casabelli and Nicolina Castelli.
I think you're looking at the first subpoena, the last subpoena.
Oh, this is okay, one moment. It's the third page. And there's 6 pages of that subpoena. All right, and there's another subpoena.
That's
Toward the back. I just want to make sure I've got the correct one here. So the two subpoenas that are part of this exhibit, they each have 6 pages, but they appear to be the same, a copy of the same subpoena. They're both.
Can you tell the difference between the first subpoena there and the second?
So the reason I mention that is just comparing the two. The first page is the same, has the same date and time.
As the second?
I'm just comparing the two, okay, just to, again. I just want to make sure that I'm correct here before I confirm that.
The second subpoena, would it be what would be produced or submitted to BBVA in relevance to these documents next to you?
Well, I don't know. Let me just answer that last question. Just one moment, please. Thank you. I just wanted to ensure that I'm looking at the right thing here. So the two subpoenas that are included as an attachment in this exhibit appear to be the same, just a second copy of the first one.
Are the requesters the same?
Yes, it's the exact same copy. They're both the same copies.
Would those be related to the production of those type of documents next to you?
Related to,
If they were submitted to your bank, BBVA Bank, would BBVA possibly produce those documents that next to you from those?
yeah, they would produce documents based on the subpoena.
Move it to evidence.
Any objection to the admission of Exhibit 136?
Yes, Your Honor, there's multiple parts of this, and I think after the second subpoena, there's some kind of documentation about a possible police report or something to that effect that hasn't been spoken about here.
So you've laid the foundation with regard to the duplicate subpoena. If there's any other attachments, you need to lay the foundation for the additional attachments in Exhibit 136.
I'm not sure what those are at
Take
the
a look
moment.
at your exhibit.
Thank you.
What police report?
the second production in there of history. It's similar to the first subpoena. History was requested. Do you see one like that in there?
Yes, so there's a docket history on the second page of the service of process transmittal. So there are 2 dates. One date is, it's a subpoena, and its date and hour of the service is by the process server on May 20th, 2019 at 12:06 to Michael Klimmer at Compass Bank. And there is a CT log number, which is on the CT Corporation letterhead here. And then there's a second entry as well, another subpoena. This is by process server on 2/13 of 2019 at 14:52 to Steve Geisler, which is the what appeared on the first document, and it has a CT log number on this as well.
So that would indicate it's a subpoena history.
Yes.
And that would be something BBVA would produce if requested through a subpoena?
Yes.
The other documentation in there, is that from BBVA Compass as well?
Where there's the subpoena, looks like a second copy of the same subpoena, and then there's emails from BBVA, from our legal department, sending this research request to our subpoena research department.
That would be something BBVA would supply during a request through a subpoena production.
Yes, that's correct.
Move to submit.
Any objection to the admission of Exhibit 136?
Your Honor, if I may see the exhibit they're looking at to make sure I'm matching it up with the exhibit that I'm looking at back here, it would help me.
You're welcome.
May we approach, Your Honor?
You may. White noise. Slide this out of the way.
Sorry, the exhibit I was looking at had some kind of sheriff's report or something attached to it. This one does not. So that part of my objection I withdraw. But then there are these pages here that are not part of the subpoena, and I believe there's a couple of pages here. And this appears to be correspondence of some sort.
Which he just testified to, that would come from them if requested through a subpoena.
But this is not, he's not the person who wrote this correspondence, and I think you have to have somebody that's going to.
But it does have letterhead.
Let him finish his objection, because we can't record you both. All right. We're going to take up the objection tomorrow. It's 4:31. Thank you. Turn off the white noise. It's not in. We'll deal with it tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, as I promised you, it's 4:30. We're not going to extend the time. You are excused from your service at this time. Please be back at the jury room tomorrow at 9:15. Please also remember the admonition not to read or view any media stories or accounts from any other sources regarding the action or view of the places where the events at issue occurred until after you've been discharged and dismissed. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow at 9:15. Thank you for your time and attention.
All rise.
We leave this here and just leave them over there.
Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect. The jurors are excused. We are in the presence of counsel, the parties, as well as the witness. Okay, nobody leaves here until we have an accounting of all the exhibits. So that's number one. This witness, sir, you may be excused. We're going to need you back here tomorrow. We're going to put you on first thing. We start at 9:30.
Okay,
Thank you. You're excused, sir.
thank you.
You're welcome. There's one other issue I need to address, but I'll wait for the witness to be excused.
Thank you. There's the two piles.
Thank you so much. We'll take care of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So 9:30 tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you for your presentation today. There's been one issue that came up. I don't know whether it occurred or not. I need to remind everybody there's no recording in the courtroom. I believe I tried to remind everybody on Friday that there's no recording in the courtroom. Additionally, the jurors have an absolute right to anonymity. If there's any recording and I find out that the jurors have been recorded, there's going to be swift sanctions. So there's no recording in the courtroom. If anybody wants copies of the FTR, that can certainly be requested, and we can do that through the court system, but there's no recording during the trial.
None was.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Just charging it.
Not a problem.
The battery isn't the best.
So if I just didn't say that, I just want to make sure, okay? We're losing the jurors. I'm watching their faces. So they're not getting the connection what's going on with these records. So I'm just telling you that right now because I'm watching them. That's what I observed. Them. They're getting antsy because they're not seeing what the connection is. So we got to start making the connection here pretty soon because they've been patient, but they're getting antsy, okay?
Let's get it in, first of all.
Well, here's the thing. Y'all could have stipulated to some of these exhibits too, which means if you come to agreements on some of these things, they could just come in without doing the dance. But
Your Honor,
yes,
8 years. They just-
okay. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But all right.
I'm willing, but
I mean, it's a little late in the game, I guess. But
He never does anything but object.
I mean,
anyway, I think
you all can come to agreements at this point. You can stipulate to everything coming in. Then you don't have to do the foundational dance, or to some. It's up to you guys what you want in.
we're amenable, but
Any stipulations, counsel, or no? Or you can rest on it. If you all want to think about it tonight, look at your lists, see if you can come up with some stipulations. It might get you through this a little faster because the jurors are just like,
I know. They're
They-
falling asleep.
right. I mean, they want to see what these records are about. They want to know what the case is about. Right now, we just keep hearing about bank records, subpoenas, and how we got them. And they're lost.
Like going to a dentist. It's not-
Right. So we got to kind of get the connection going. So I'm not going to press you all right now. It's late in the day. We've gone through a lot of information. Think about it overnight. If y'all could be back here tomorrow at like 9:15, I'd appreciate it, especially if you thought about, take a look at your exhibit list, see if there's any stipulations. If there are, great. If there's not, we'll proceed. Okay? Anything additional for the record by either party?
Excuse me?
Anything additional for the record this evening before we go? Anything you want to address?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
You want these back, right?
Yes, don't leave until we have them all.
I think you said you didn't want us to leave.
I don't want you to leave until we have them all, so we don't count, just make sure. Because that happened to me one time, and I'll tell you what, it is a nightmare.
That would be a pain.
Trust me, it's, they're also. So, here's 135, 136, these are 1 through 14. Thank you, Gary.
It was on 136, correct?
Yes, 135, 136, 134.
It's okay, sir.
There it is.
We'll take care of it.
Yes, I know, it's scary.
No, I
And
understand.
when I see them, there's multiple ones out, I start to sweat.
No, it's okay.
Be careful going home. Thank you. Thank you.
Stand here so you can run that and I'll walk out.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good, you're good.
Just roll up there.
Must be for you too.
You're wearing a sweater?
Well, my curb's usually cold, and up there it's cold. They're freezing in the top.
I debated on wearing a sweater and I didn't.
Man, I'm not tomorrow.
Bermuda shorts.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
You too, take care now. Be careful going home. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Take care, you too, bye-bye. You can cut it, Emma.